Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to showcase Skyrim running on the Nintendo Switch at 60 FPS, as well as how to get the mod installed. So without further ado, let's get into it. You can see the water's flowing and the CPU is still not running very hot at all. Here, running across the stream, we're getting a solid 50 FPS or so as we head into outside. Just this little open area. Not exactly the whole open world though. Let's jump down to check out the waterfall here. A bunch of water effects going on. There was a dip down there, 47, 49. Seems to be sitting between 40 to 50 FPS in there. Now we're back inside the bunker, a little bit more open area. And again, still sitting around 55 FPS. There's a bunch of lighting, shadow effects. So as long as you're inside a more enclosed area, you're definitely going to be hitting a lot closer to that 60 FPS mark. Even here in the cave where there's a bunch of lighting effects up ahead and fog, and even a little cutscene that plays out shortly. See the three waterfalls in the background, bats flying around. The GPU is getting hammered pretty hard though. It seems to be hovering around 70 to 90% of usage. But still, our temperature on the Switch itself while docked is fairly cool. It's around 65 degrees or so. That's not bad at all. If it gets up to around 80 degrees, that's when you should start thinking about shutting it off, taking a break. But I've actually never seen it go up that way. And with the overclock it is right now, everything is maxed out completely. And this is an original version 1 Nintendo Switch with the less efficient Tegra chip. So even during combat here, it barely stutters. I'm outside in the world now, and we're fighting these wolves, got around 40, yeah, pretty solid 40 to 50 FPS in the open world. I'm actually very impressed with this. Very recently, the PS5 and Xbox Series versions of Skyrim came out with the upgraded and unlocked 60 FPS performance. And I never thought that the Nintendo Switch would be able to achieve this. It's amazing seeing it in action. I've never played Skyrim before, but I'm getting really into it now, and I wanted to make this video to try and help you out so that any potential Skyrim players or people coming back, or maybe anyone that's a little bit hesitant to play it on the Switch, I wanted to show you there's options out there. So even in town here, the performance is still very acceptable and much higher than the 30 FPS which the game is regularly locked to. Transition between day and night doesn't seem to make much of a difference. In fact, even the daytime here seems to be a little bit higher, sitting 50, 51 FPS. It's well within tolerance. The frame pacing seems to be pretty smooth. It's not too stuttery. Actually, no stutter at all. Links to all the necessary URLs down below in the description, so you can go ahead and take a look for that. But for now, I'm going to show you how you can get this on your Nintendo Switch. First thing we want to do is select all of this for the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Right-click, copy. Now, what we need to do, I have a little folder here, but the first thing here, let's just go ahead and make a brand new text file. And just leave that as it is. And what we need to do is open it up, and we have to paste in our information here. And we're just going to go ahead and save. And first thing we need here, TID, title ID. Copy that, and you can leave this open for now. I'm going to go ahead, make a new folder, and I'm just going to paste in that exact title ID. Now, we want to open that up and make another folder called cheats. Cheats. Because the way this 60 FPS mod is enabled, it's enabled through your cheat manager. Most people use Edizon. I think everybody uses Edizon at this point. So that's how we do this. Next step. BID. So this is the ID of the specific version of the game. So depending on what version you have, the BID will be different and the mods will be different. So these will likely not work on a lower version of the game. So it tells you up here at the top, make sure you have Skyrim version 1.1.14.534.571. And again, you can see that right here in the GBA temp thread. So anyways, we want to highlight our BID, copy that, close our text document, because we need to rename it to this BID. And you can just leave it as .txt. So that's perfectly fine. So we need to cut this. You can copy it as well. I just do cut because you only need one. Move it into the cheats folder that we just created. And we need to take this, cut it, atmosphere, contents. On your Nintendo Switch, on your SD card, there's likely going to be tons of files in here as well as tons of other files on the SD card. I just wanted to give you a quick demonstration on exactly where to put the file. It's okay if there's other stuff there. That's not a problem at all, and there should be other stuff in these folders. If by chance you don't have a contents folder on your Nintendo Switch's SD card / atmosphere directory, go ahead, right click, just do new folder, and then you can make a contents folder. So now that you have that on your SD card, you can go ahead and just take your SD card, pop it back into your Nintendo Switch, and you're good to go. Actually, one more thing regarding the Skyrim cheats file. While we're here and we have access to the SD card, and we have access to this part here with the 60 FPS patch, there we might as well go ahead, take all the cheats from the GBA temp thread and apply that to our TXT file so we can not only have 60 FPS, but we actually have access to all the cheats. So we just want to go ahead, copy the cheats, and we can go ahead, make sure there's a space after, and paste them into our text file. After that, go File, Save. And there is one more point I want to mention. This here, I've had problems with the cheats file getting recognized if there's a header in it here. So what I like to do, delete, leave one space right at the beginning, File, Save. And every time, my file always works. Sometimes Edizon won't pick up on the actual cheat file if it's in an incorrect format. So we close that, and now we are all set. We can. All right, now that we're back on the Nintendo Switch, let's go ahead and load up Skyrim. One thing that's really important, actually, I want to mention with Skyrim, if you have the sys module tri-player, make sure you disable it first. If it's running, there's an option turned off. It's just called stop module. So let's go ahead, open up Skyrim first. And I already have my Skyrim set up to overclock because you need to overclock it to the maximum. Now, when you're fiddling with mods such as 60 FPS mods that you want to enable, disable, as well as overclocking, it's always best to do it when you're in a menu screen and there's not too much going on. That way it's not as much of a shock on the CPU. So let's bring up our Tesla menu so we can access Edizon. 60 FPS on. Now, how do we know that's working? I don't know if it's working. Let's enable Tesla status monitor mini. Up there in the corner, 60 FPS. Now let's get into the game. I'm gonna go ahead, hit continue. I was actually already playing this a little bit, gathering a lot of game footage. And as you can see, I have my Nintendo Switch docked, and the overclock on it is maxed out completely. The CPU is maxed, the GPU is maxed, and the RAM is maxed. And as you can see, the CPU or the Nintendo Switch is running at a cool 43 degrees. That's not hot at all. So with some slight modding and overclocking, you can really squeeze out a lot more performance out of the Nintendo Switch and get a lot more enjoyability out of your games. All it takes is a little bit of modification and some overclocking, which the Nintendo Switch is very capable of. I think that'll do it here for this video. So if you liked it, I'd really appreciate a like. I'm trying to build up this channel and get some subs as well. So I know if I can hit that magical 100 sub mark, then I can start customizing the channel a little bit more. We're almost there. So I want to thank you for watching, and I hope this video helped you out. I got some more 60 FPS patches that I want to show off in the near future, as well as a lot of other things in the pipeline. So again, thank you for watching and have a great day.